Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's nice to see such a great crowd here this morning, and welcome to the Youngstown-Warren Regional Chamber's 2024 annual meeting. I'm Dana Bolish, the sports director and anchor at WFMJ TV 21, as well as a friend to the Chamber. I'm excited and honored to be your MC today, and it's wonderful to see all of you. The annual meeting is a time for the Chamber's board and staff to come together to celebrate the organizations, its members and partners, and our community. We will present annual awards to two groups and one individual, all of whom are significantly impacting our valley and energizing its future. And we are going to present our fourth Valley Champion Award to a Youngstown native who is making waves in the National Football League in one of the highest corporate positions within the organization, revolutionizing its information technology both on and off the field. We will be learning more about all of our recipients via some fun interviews in just a bit, and look forward to hearing their work and accomplishments. But first, I would like to introduce those sitting at our head table, starting from your left. Guy Coviello, President and CEO of the Regional Chamber. Gary Brantley, Senior Vice President and Chief Information Officer of the NFL, our Valley Champion Award recipient and keynote speaker. Jim DeCenzo, Principal at HBK, our keynote presentation sponsor. Phyllis Gaskeb, President of iHeartMedia, Youngstown and Akron markets, and our Spirit of the Chamber Award recipients. Nancy Kuzenko, individual and small 250 account executive at Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield, and our award presentation sponsor. Mark Wennick, Executive Vice President, Chief Wealth Management Officer at Farmers National Bank, and our Gold Breakfast sponsor. Denny Malloy, President of the Trumbull County Board of Commissioners, representing Commissioners Mauro Cantalamessa and Nikki Frenchko, collectively our Spirit of the Valley Award recipients. And Anthony Trafficanti, President of the Mahoning County Board of Commissioners, representing Commissioners David Ditzler and Carol Remedio-Rigetti, also collectively our Spirit of the Valley Award recipients. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of the Chamber's longtime partnerships with the sponsors of the annual meeting. We are fortunate that these businesses continually support the Chamber and its initiatives, and we appreciate the generosity that allows them to bring you more than 100 programs and events each year. How about a nice round of applause for our head table? I'm glad to first call on Farmers National Bank. Farmers has been at this table for several years and has actually been a member of the Chamber for 50 years and is a great friend to the organization. Please welcome for remarks Mark Wennick, Executive Vice President and Chief Wealth Management Officer. Mark.
Good morning, and thank you, Dana. I would be remiss if I didn't say it's good to see a lot of the same faces I saw about 12 hours ago at the Lake Club. So good morning, and I hope you all had a good evening of rest after that event. I would like to start by thanking the Chamber for their continued commitment to a true partnership with the businesses and communities of the Valley. Guy and his team continue to do a remarkable job solidifying relationships with our government entities, government officials, and other economic development groups, which benefits all of us. And the annual meeting is a good opportunity to celebrate their efforts. Guy has been talking about the Valley being at an inflection point in our economic history. We have experienced an increase in GDP, employment rate, and population growth since 2020, and are hoping for and expecting population expansion through the next decade to meet the economic growth activities. To that end, a significant repopulation effort is underway by the Chamber in partnership with other entities. Please take the time this morning and thereafter to reflect on what you can do to assist in our repopulation effort and the retention, return, or receive strategies. If you require additional information regarding the 3 R's I just mentioned, again, retention, reserve, or receive, and I continue to be educated on this as well. And again, recall that there are 3 strategies and not all parts are equal, so we can focus on whatever you are comfortable with. But I do encourage you to reach out to someone with the chamber who will be pleased to provide additional information. It's also a real pleasure to be here representing Farmers National Bank and our CEO, Kevin Helmick. As a member of this business community and the chamber, we appreciate the opportunity to sponsor the chamber's annual meeting. This breakfast is one of the more meaningful annual chamber events. There's nothing more special than recognizing those who have made a difference locally with their contributions by presenting the Spirit of the Valley and the Spirit of the Chamber Awards. In addition, the Valley Champion Award recognizing a Valley native who has gone on and made their mark and contributions outside the Valley is truly unique and exciting. Congratulations to all the recipients, and we look forward to hearing your comments later this morning. As a leading local financial institution, we are fortunate at Farmers to have had a front row seat to recent Valley successes and are anticipating many more successes in the near future. The interest in our Valley for economic development, mega projects continues to be at historical highs, and the challenge for all of us is to stand ready to provide whatever support we can so we may turn these prospective opportunities into announcements. At Farmers, we know something about success and are very proud of our successes, including the recent groundbreaking for the expansion of our corporate headquarters as one example. This expansion is yet another example of our commitment to the Valley and our growth. We recognize that the opportunity to grow our bank would not have occurred without this community, which includes many supporters and friends in this room, and the hard work of our dedicated associates. We take the motto, fiercely local, fiercely loyal to heart, and our growth and financial success ensures that we will continue to be a solid, independent corporate partner and community leader for the foreseeable future. Again, we appreciate being a sponsor this morning. We thank the Chamber for organizing this event, and of course, the Chamber could not have an event like this without your participation. So thank you to you all for making the time and effort to come out this morning. Enjoy the rest of your morning, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Mark, and to Farmers National Bank for your continuous support of the Chamber, its missions, and events like this one today. We will call on Anthem for remarks and the introduction of our awards recipient in just a few moments. But first, I would like to recognize and welcome additional sponsors and thank them for their support of our annual meeting. Silver sponsors, Boak & Sons, Commercial Metal Forming, and Packer Thomas. Bronze sponsors, Armstrong, Mercer County Community Federal Credit Union, the Platts Realty Group, and Tata Steel. Foundation dinner sponsors, Spring Hill Suites by Marriott and Town Place Suites by Marriott. Workforce education sponsors, Mahoning County Career and Technical Center. Beverage sponsor, Dawn Incorporated. Production sponsor, Huey's Event Production Services. And our foundation VIP reception sponsors, Akron Children's Hospital, Mahoning Valley, the Business Journal, the DeBartolo Corporation, DeSalvo Construction, Humtown, the Moransky Companies, Trumbull Industries, Altium Cells, VEC, the Youngstown State University Foundation, and the Western Reserve Port Authority. Can we please give all of our sponsors a great round of applause? I would also like to recognize the Board of the Regional Chamber for their support throughout the year. Their expertise and insight are incredibly valuable, and they are always ready and willing to help when called on to ensure our valley is an ideal place to work, live, and play. I'd especially like to thank, on behalf of the Chamber, Board Chairman Jim Gazier for his leadership, guidance, and longevity in serving on the board, as well as the board's executive committee, members, and all of the councils of the board that work so hard to support the organization and its efforts. Can I please ask all of the members of the board and committees who are here this morning to stand, and we can give you a nice round of applause. Please stand. Thank you very much. One last order of business before we begin our award presentation. With the Regional Chamber signature events garnering crowds of this size, the team felt compelled to partner with various nonprofit organizations once again for 2024, as they did in 2022, and asked event attendees to donate items to worthy causes. For today's event, we are focused on the needs of Actions, or the Alliance for Congressional Transformation Influencing Our Neighborhoods, which is a faith-based nonprofit organization focused on addressing social justice issues in the Mahoning Valley. With a membership of approximately 30 institutions, Action has established task forces to combat food insecurity, promote racial injustice, advocate for fair housing, and address other community concerns. One of the Action's most notable programs is a collaborative effort with Flying High, known as the Mobile Market, a grocery store on wheels that brings fresh, affordable, and healthy food to underserved areas where access to quality groceries is limited. Through its grassroots efforts and collaborative approach, Action works to empower its members and community residents to create positive change and build a more equitable and inclusive society. Please take a look at the screen to see what all of your generosity has brought so far. This is just awesome. If you forget to bring items with you or weren't aware that we were collecting, you are most certainly welcome to make a monetary donation at the conclusion of the event. If you did donate, you were given a raffle ticket for the chance to win a $25 gift card to a Chamber member establishment. The team randomly pulled 4 winning tickets, and those individuals can pick up those gift cards at the registration table on their way out this morning. The gift card recipients are Amy Young of Avalon Pizza, Jerry Eisen of the Youngstown Cattle Company, Tracy Walters of Stonebridge, and Randy Tucker of Blue Wolf. Congratulations. Thank you all again for your support of Action. Moving on to our awards presentation this morning, I'd like to call on Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Anthem has sponsored this event for the past 23 years and has also been a member of the Chamber for 53 years, and we appreciate their commitment to our Valley and continued participation in our programs. Please welcome for remarks, followed by the presentation of awards, Nancy Kozenko, Individual and Small 250 Account Executive.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. It's certainly great to see a packed house with representatives from all across the Valley. Again, Anthem has been a sponsor of this event for many, many years. We've also been a partner with the Chamber, and they, I can tell you, are gold standard, not only across the state of Ohio, but also across the country. So we should be very proud of what Guy and his team has done, not only for our region, but also the limelight that they sit in with other chambers wanting to emulate what they're able to accomplish for their regions within Ohio and across the country. Anthem, for a long time now, has been able to offer Chamber members exclusive discounts on our small group, mid-market, and large group products. Many of those products now include employee and spouse engagement incentives to get them back in the habit of getting their preventative care services, flu shots, mammographies, and those employees are able to get gift card incentives, again, to get them back into what they were doing before COVID. We also, on most of our plans, include $0 virtual care, including our HSA plans for 2024, for other needed services like mental health and substance use services that adults in our community as well as adolescents need. So we've got a number of our partner brokers here today, as well as our small group account manager. So if you're not sure if your benefits include those, see us after the meeting. Again, thank you everybody for attending. And without further delay, it's my distinct honor to present the Spirit of the Valley and the Spirit of the Chamber Awards this morning. The first award, the Spirit of the Valley, is presented to a business leader who has displayed exemplary leadership and commitment to the community, economic development, and the overall progress of our valley. This year, we're excited to present this award to two groups of community leaders who are working together and with the Chamber and its partners to move the valley forward to build a stronger, brighter future for those who live, work, learn, and play in the Warren-Youngstown area. At the close of 2023, the Mahoning County Commissioners, as well as the Trumbull County Commissioners, each committed $1 million apiece to support Valley Vision 2050, an aggressive strategy to increase economic prosperity and improve the quality of life across our region. The funds will enable leadership from 5 organizations: the Western Reserve Port Authority, the Regional Chamber, the Youngstown Foundation, the Eastgate Regional Council of Governments, as well as Valley Partners, to bring multiple stakeholders to various industries to address issues pertaining to economic development, housing, quality of life, support for our arts and culture industries at a time when our valley is on the cusp of what is being termed a generational opportunity for growth. Outcomes for the plan include our becoming a more competitive region in economic development, investing in our quality of life to attract more people here, growing our tax base, reducing equity gaps in household income, educational attainment, and health outcomes, between zip codes, and becoming proactive in preparing sites for business development. The strategy and funds to support it are bringing together our communities in ways that we've never experienced before. Without the partnership of Trumbull and Mahoning County Commissioners, who work each and every day tirelessly on behalf of all of us in this room to ensure a fantastic quality of life and foster growth and success, Valley Vision could not go forward as it is. Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to present our 2024 Spirit of the Valley Award to the Mahoning County Commissioners as well as the Trumbull County Commissioners, and ask Commissioners Anthony Trafficante and Denny Malloy to join us on stage so we can find out more about their support for this effort.
All right, gentlemen, take your jackets off. We're going to arm wrestle here. Thanks and congratulations. And Mr. Malloy, you won the coin toss, so you're going to go first. Why did you choose to support Valley Vision?
You know, this was something, I'm a Valley guy. I'm a product of the Mahoning Valley. I grew up in Mahoning County, but I am a Trumbull County Commissioner, so I understand both worlds. I grew up as a kid with my best friend out there, Rob Palowitz is out there somewhere, and we would hunt mosquito and fish with our dad since we were about 12 years old, so that was my first experience to Trumbull County. But I realized also, there's kind of an imaginary line that people in Mahoning County never have to go to Trumbull, people in Trumbull really don't have to go to Mahoning. Yet, with General Motors and Lordstown, our fathers and uncles and everyone in our family, between the mills and the industry, that was right on the bubble, right on the border. So the working man had kind of a relationship with both counties, but the families really didn't. As I moved to Trumbull County when I was older, got to experience the county myself, got to live there and got to get a bit of the culture, I realized that we're stronger as a valley than we are independently, especially when it comes to the industry, when it comes to the businesses. That this was something that the Chamber of Commerce, the Port Authority, all these people I was meeting when I got into politics are brilliant minds, brilliant people. And my job is really actually pretty easy. All I have to do is let these people do what they do and just say yes and guide them along the way when they need a little grease to make what their ideas are come to fruition. With the Valley Vision, the Chamber approached us with it. And we said, this is a no-brainer. This is the easiest money spent. It's the easiest investment. It is taxpayer dollars that we invested in this, so we have to be mindful of the taxpayers. But as a taxpayer, and if we were their stockbroker and they're looking to invest in something good, investing in the people of the Mahoning Valley and the business of Mahoning Valley is a sure bet.
Mr. Trafficani, again, Mr. Malloy mentioned taxpayers' money. Sometimes when it comes to that, it could be a tough decision.
Always is, always is. You know, you try to be best to be vigilant with the tax dollars because, you know, you hear all these projects, you see how much money that we say that we bring back here. But you have to remember one thing, these are your dollars that we're doing these projects with, so thank you. And I can't agree more with Denny. You know, whenever we have a chance to partnership, and we're only as strong as the partnerships and connections that we have. If we wouldn't partner with Trumbull County, we would be doing a disservice to this entire region. And I think all of you know, you're all business people. I come from a business. I'm still a businessman. I just don't do politics. If we don't get out of the silos, if we don't grow this area, you know, if we just try to stay in our own territories, it's cheating all of you. And it's cheating our families and it's cheating our children. So when this idea was broached to the Mahoning County Commissioners to do Valley Vision, it was basically a no-brainer. Myself, Carol Righetti, Commissioner David Ditzler, we got on board immediately. And then when we heard we're going to partner with Trumbull County, it even made more sense. And I look at this whole thing like Jim Trussell used to say. This is a football field. You have a goal post and a goal line down the end. We are all the players basically on the field. And every day we get up, every day you get up, we're trying to move that ball closer and closer. So if we don't set our sights on some type of realistic goal, we are cheating our communities and basically we're cheating ourselves because we hear about repopulation. We want to keep young people here. I taught 10 years at YSU. My students would come up to me and say, Mr. Trafficani, why do I have to leave here to get a job? That's changing. We're no longer the Rust Belt, we're the tech belt. But we want to remember our forefathers here, how hard they worked, because those steel mills put us through school and bought our homes. So it's going to be the same thing with this Valley Vision. I'm just glad to be part of it and partnering with my good friend Denny Malloy and the Trumbull County Commissioners. Carol Righetti is here. I want to introduce Carol. She's a big supporter of the Valley. Dave Ditzler couldn't be here today. We're proud to be part of this. Thank you.
How can Valley Vision and the commissioners outside of the Valley Vision scope bridge that divide?
Well, I think you see it today. And I don't see many communities now being able to solely survive on their own. You have to partner. And the partners that we have with Valley Vision, they are the players on the field. They're the ones going out there knocking on doors. I can't knock on every door. We need the Chamber. We need Eastgate. We need the Port Authority who's here. These folks are bringing these projects in here. And if you'd hear Guy Coviello talk, we've got mega projects coming here. So why wouldn't we invest in this region, $2 million total investment, when we have these multi-billion-dollar companies wanting to come to our beautiful valley? This is great. So as Denny said, these imaginary lines are not existing anymore. They may exist differently with zoning issues, but they don't exist with family issues. Everybody wants to be able to raise their family, own a home, have a nice car. We all know what it is to have the bottom line. So if we don't do this, we're hurting ourselves. And by the way, I want to congratulate all the award recipients today. Thank you for having me up here. This is like an Academy Award, by the way. So I appreciate it so much.
Mr. Malloy, if you had a magic wand to change one thing about your county, what would you change?
I think that may have already happened last month, but I'm honest. We've had some roadblocks. I've been here for a year and a half, and we've had some roadblocks in the county. We've had some issues, and if people know, I mean, they know, they watch the shows. Admit it, you go on Facebook, you see what's going on, you peek, everybody does, even my mother. But together, a majority of the board has come together to move forward on things that we do. And I think the biggest thing, if I had a magic wand, would be, I mean, we had the 7-Eleven connector years ago, and that kind of made Trumbull County and Mahoning County one. And I realize I use that thing all the time, as many of us do. What did we do before that back in the day? There's other ways I think that when we work together with government, commissioners never talk to each other. When I got there, I said, you know, do we meet with these other commissioners? Do we meet with Portage? No, it's like we're the three of us, and that's what you do, is you make the decisions yourself, and it's us versus the world. And by partnering up with Valley Vision, by partnering up with the Chamber, partnering up with the port, it's all of us against the world now. And it's something that if I were able to change one thing, like I said, it's happening. That divide is coming down, the walls are coming down, communication is the key. We agreed. I've known Commissioner Trafficani before I got in office here. I've known Anthony Trevina before I got in office. And a lot of our business leaders through this room are already friends, are already colleagues, are already people that we communicate with. So let's do that in business, and let's make sure that if there's a business coming to Trumbull County, Mahoning County is going to get the housing. They're going to get residents. They're going to get people spending money on product. If it's in Mahoning County, we need to cheer for it here in Trumbull County the same way. And I guess that would be my vision. If I could change things, is let's work together, and I don't care what side of the county line it's on, we're all going to benefit somehow.
Just for the record, these questions were given to me. I didn't ask that question. Mr. Trafficani, again, the magic wand, what one thing would you change?
Oh boy, I've always wanted a magic wand for a lot of years, but there'd be more than one thing. But one thing I would like to say, outside of curing everybody of cancer, which would be nice, you know, we need God to help us do that. A lot of sick people in this area. I would like to see younger people and younger families come here, stay here, buy a home, put their kids through school, and basically see the repopulation of our area. And I think that would be very important, because if you look at the census a few years back, we were losing 1% a year for 10 years, and people were going to other communities. So, you know, you had to strive and work harder to continue to bring things here, and I think we see it. It's self-evident by how many businesses here. So that would be one of the things, outside of curing cancer, that I would like to see happen in our valley.
Well, I didn't need my referee's jersey today. Nice job, gentlemen. Congratulations. Congratulations on your awards.
Thank you, Dana. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Denny.
Thank you, commissioners, and thanks and congratulations again on your hard work, efforts, success, and all that you and your fellow commissioners contribute to both of our regions. Our next award, the Spirit of the Chamber Award, is given for exceptional dedication, commitment, and accomplishments on behalf of the Youngstown-Warren Regional Chamber. Phyllis Gaskeb, president of iHeartMedia, Youngstown and Akron markets, came to our valley a couple of years ago and immediately connected with the chamber to find out how she could support and assist with the organization's efforts. In 2022, the two organizations kicked off a strategic, ongoing partnership that has resulted in the regional chamber, its members, and the region having a massive reach and scale in promoting initiatives, issues, and events that are shaping our region now and for the future. The Chamber has had support through iHeart's 6 radio properties in the Valley, and on numerous occasions has been on air with popular talk show hosts Dan Rivers, Ron Verb, and Gary Rivers, talking about important initiatives like Valley Vision and bringing on special guests like Gary Brantley, who will be on with Dan at 10:25 a.m. today as well as an FYI. The Chamber is grateful for the partnership and all that Phyllis does to lift up the Warren-Youngstown region. She is truly one of the area's greatest cheerleaders and champions for our success and works with the goal of effecting change. In her role at iHeart, she oversees all business operations, sales, programming, community outreach, and more. Phyllis also oversees an opioid prevention network, working with elected officials, communities, ADAMHS boards, health departments, and organizations across Ohio. Phyllis and her team are providing community outreach, awareness, public education, and prevention efforts to help curb substance use disorders, reduce stigmas, and rebuild our workforce. Phyllis has more than 20 years of experience in strategic planning, marketing, as well as business development. She previously held executive positions at several advertising agencies and top media companies, including CBS Broadcasting and Disney. The Pittsburgh native has received various awards for her marketing strategy work and earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in communications from the University of Pittsburgh, where she began her career as an intern for Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me congratulate our 2024 Spirit of the Chamber Award winner, Phyllis Gaskeb.
Welcome, Phyllis,
Thank you, Dana. It's a
and
pleasure.
congratulations.
Thank you. This is such an incredible honor.
Before we get started, is there someone that you would like to thank before we jump into the questions and answers?
Yes, absolutely. I have a lot of people to thank. Without them, I wouldn't be here. First of all, I'd like to thank Guy Coviello and the Regional Chamber. Thank you for this incredible honor and for the most fantastic partnership. Most important, thank you for your friendship that's become like family. I'd also like to thank the Regional Chamber Board thank you for your guidance and support of our wonderful regional chamber and for putting and keeping Guy in his role. He did not pay me to say that. It takes a great leader to do great things, and it also takes a great team, and the regional chamber team is exceptional. And talk about exceptional teams, I'd like to thank iHeartMedia and my amazing team for all your support. My boss, Matt Bell, our area president, drove in from Lima, Ohio early this morning to be here for us. And thank you, Matt, and thank you to my entire team for everything you do each and every day. You make my job in life so much better. And isn't it something special when your team becomes like family? Speaking of family, I am so grateful and blessed to have the most incredible family in the world who has always been there for me with all their love and support. My brother Jim drove in from Pittsburgh to be here for me today. Thanks, Jim. And thank you to my brothers, my mother, and especially my father, my biggest fan, for all your endless love and support. And finally, I'd like to thank all of you. Thank you for being part of our wonderful chamber and for all that you do to give back to the community. Our regional chamber in this community is heads and shoulders above the rest, and I am so proud and honored to be part of, serve, and work with all of you. Thank you.
Well, to break the ice a little bit, since you're new, Phyllis, somewhat to the area, tell us one thing no one knows about you.
Well, I think the cat got out of the bag a little bit, but when I was studying for my degree in communications at the University of Pittsburgh, Dana, I, similar to you, wanted to be a TV reporter. So I went to register for an internship, and the internships were all taken at the TV station. So I ended up interning for Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and it was by far the most wonderful experience. I got to work with the cast and the crew, and Mr. McFeely, I reported to him, and to this day, it by far has been the highlight of the beginning of my career.
Did you do any voices?
I did not do any voices, but I will tell you, if you were wondering, Mr. Rogers is the same in person as he is on TV.
Fred Rogers, one of the great ones in the industry.
Absolutely. Yes.
Tell us a little bit about yourself separately from your career and business experience. Basically, who is?
She's knocking herself out taking pictures from me.
Who is Phyllis Gasket?
Who am I? Well, I'm just your girl next door, Dana. I grew up in Pittsburgh in a very close, loving, supportive, traditional family with Italian influence. And I was raised with those traditional values of honesty and integrity and respect for yourself, respect for others, and to give back and to do and be the best you can always. And I wouldn't change that for a thing. I love my family, I love my friends, I love what I do, and I love this community.
Are you a Steeler fan?
Yes and no.
I'm going to throw the flag on that.
It depends who I'm talking to, Dana.
You have been in the market for a couple of years, and you quickly developed a close relationship with the regional chamber. Why is that so important?
Because, first of all, this regional chamber is exceptional. I mean, you heard Nancy mention the gold standard that our regional chamber is, and I couldn't agree with that more. When I was recruited into the market by iHeartMedia a little over 2 years ago, the first thing I did is I researched the market, and I found and discovered this wonderful gem of a chamber. And just based on the caliber of events and members, I knew it was something that I wanted to be part of. Little did I know, as I got involved, how much this chamber is and means to this region. It is the connector to everything, whether it's business networking or community involvement or workforce development and government. And so I think we've got such a gem here, and it's been such an honor to be part of and continue to build the partnership that we have.
If you could choose to have iHeart and the chamber work together on something new, what would that be?
Well, actually, we're starting to do that right now. We do have something that we've begun the initial stages of planning for, and it's something that's very near and dear to me and my team, as well as important to the chamber, and it has to do with opioid and substance use prevention and mental health awareness, rebuilding our workforce, and developing our communities. And so stay tuned, there's more to come.
You know, radio, back in the day, there was always announcers, disc jockeys, news personnel back in the 70s and 80s. What is the future of radio here in the Youngstown market?
Well, I think the future of radio here is very bright. our personalities, like you, we call them influencers, they're not just working here, they're part of the community. They live here, they play here. You see them in the supermarket or in a restaurant or at the bank, and they are that voice and that friend to turn to for news and information and entertainment. And more important, we really care about this community and giving back. We're one of the first ones to step up when there's a local event that needs promoted or a fundraiser or to mobilize resources for help. And we also have the backing of our local and state officials who understand the importance of and the vital role that we play in giving back to the community. And I think that couldn't be more evident than when we had the devastating train derailment. And while there was all kind of national news coverage and you had online news coverage, we were the ones, our local radio, TV, print, and media were the ones that got it right. And we told and covered the information in a most meaningful way that really resonated with the residents here. And I think based on that and how much we do care and give back, that our region needs us just as much as we need them, and we're here to stay for as long as we can.
And in the evolution of talk radio is very important, isn't it?
Absolutely, yes. I mean, you heard how we've been supporting the chamber here, and we're going to continue to do that too.
Well, speaking of talk radio, how many have ever heard the guy by the name of Ron Verb, by a show of hands? That's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, he'd be happy to see that. I am.
Well, everyone seems to love him or hate him. So which side do you fall on?
I love him. I mean, I'm a little biased, but I mean, who doesn't love Ron Verb?
And then you also have, you mentioned earlier, Dan Rivers.
Yes.
Same thing with Dan. Dan's a guy who wasn't from the area but came here and has been installed here for many, many years.
Love Dan too. One thing I can tell you about Dan Rivers, Ron Verb, and Gary Rivers, and all of our talent, they truly do care about this community, and they are part of this community, and they love this community just as much as the next person does.
Well, Phyllis, we appreciate your time. Congratulations. Phyllis Gaskeb, the president of iHeartMedia, Youngstown and Akron Markets.
Thank you, Dane. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Again, we'd like to thank Phyllis and Denny and Anthony. Great insight to what happens and when everyone comes together, be it from a media standpoint or be it from a political standpoint. It's very good for this area, and that's what it's all about here with the Youngstown-Warren Regional Chamber. So certainly congratulations to both entities, and certainly I know the Chamber hopes that that relationship and sacrifice and commitment continues for many, many more years. Can we please give our Spirit Award recipients another round of applause for making our valley a great place to live and work. Next, to introduce our special guest speaker and Valley Champion Award recipient, whom he will also be interviewing, I am pleased to welcome Jim DeCenzo, the CPA and principal at HBK, our keynote presentation sponsor. Jim?
Good morning. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us here this morning. It's a great crowd. I think one of the biggest crowds we've had for this meeting. As Dana mentioned, my name's Jim DeCenzo. I'm a principal with Hillbarth and King. And quick disclaimer, usually when I speak, I do not read from notes. But I'm a CPA and it's April 10th and there's a lot here. So I have notes, I'm gonna cheat. HBK has been in the Valley since 1949. We're proud to serve as a keynote sponsor for this morning's event. We're even more proud to support our regional chamber. Also, we're proud to support many of the businesses and individuals here in the room with us today. The collective efforts of each of you helps drive the economic progress that we're seeing in the Mahoning Valley and that we need to continue to see. Similarly, HBK has experienced significant growth. As I mentioned, this year we're proud to celebrate our 75th anniversary. In 1949, three Valley natives formed HBK, Hillbarth and King. Since then, we've expanded from the Mahoning Valley, adding offices in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, and Florida. Today, as the 45th largest accounting firm in the nation, our over 700 employees serve tens of thousands of clients across the region. Yet, we remain headquartered here in Youngstown, where a lot of our firm leadership resides. Despite the growth, HBK will always value its Mahoning Valley roots. This community celebrates its strong work ethic and relationships that we formed. HBK's work ethic is shown by our dedication to our clients. In our 75 years, we have worked actively to build services that are focused on helping you and the businesses thrive. We value our relationships in this community and are grateful for the trust that we have earned. Our spirit for the Mahoning Valley is strong and unwavering. This morning, the Chamber is recognizing its Spirit of the Valley and Spirit of the Chamber Award recipients. On behalf of HBK, I have the honor of congratulating these recipients and thanking you for your dedication to the Mahoning Valley. I'd like to thank the Youngstown-Warren Regional Chamber and each of you for your commitment and support to the community also. We should be proud of the efforts we are making to build the Valley for generations to come. It is now my distinct honor to introduce our Valley Champion Award recipient and keynote speaker this morning. With over 2 decades of transformative influence in the technology realm, Gary Brantley stands at the forefront of digital evolution as a Senior Vice President and Chief Information Officer of the National Football League. His trailblazing journey is characterized by pivotal roles that have shaped both private and public sectors, leveraging technology to cultivate collaboration, drive digital inclusion, and redefine organizational culture. Prior to the NFL, Gary left indelible marks across various industries. As the Chief Information Officer for Beazer Homes, he harnessed technology to propel one of America's top home builders into a new era of market leadership. His visionary strategies as the CIO for the City of Atlanta manifested in comprehensive organizational overhauls, securing a technological edge to address the city's most pressing challenges. His innovative approach ensured the City of Atlanta's 27 departments, including the world-renowned Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, underwent a revolutionary modernization. A champion of community enrichment, Gary has been instrumental in forging partnerships with tech giants like AT&T, Verizon, and Microsoft, enhancing STEM education and supporting the Centers of Hope initiative to empower Atlanta's youth. Acknowledged by peers and industry bodies alike, Gary's slew of accolades includes recognition as a top technology leader by Computer World and a spot on Government Tech Magazine's list of 2020's top doers and dreamers. His voice and insights are sought after on global stages such as the Smart City World Expo in Barcelona and GITEX Technology Week in Dubai, marking him as a thought leader in the smart city and educational technology spaces. And of course, Gary grew up right here in Youngstown, Ohio, graduating from Calvary Christian High School in 1995 and Youngstown State University in 2002, and we couldn't be more proud. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause and welcome home to our 2024 Valley Champion Award recipient, Mr. Gary Brantley. You can tell we haven't rehearsed this. So I got the opportunity to meet Gary and his brother last night, and we had a great conversation, and I think hopefully we'll be able to carry that on a little bit here today for your benefit. Gary, before we get started, anybody you want to thank, anybody you want to introduce before we get into it?
Yeah, of course. I looked in the audience, and I have a lot of people here who I actually was surprised or here. A lot of people who have been instrumental in my career, so I have a lot of people to thank as well. And so, first, I would be remiss if I didn't, and you get put in these positions, and I feel strongly about that just with God and my faith. I think that stands alone. I think I would like to thank my family. Sometimes these jobs require a lot of sacrifice. I'm missing track meets with my kids. They're one in college, one running. My family, Bridget, who has been very instrumental in taking care of my family while I travel all over the place and has made tremendous sacrifices for me to be where I'm at. So I just would like to thank my family. My parents are here. I would like to thank them. They've been the foundation of rock. People talk about mentors, and so my dad is the strongest mentor. It's not anybody in the industry. It's my dad, and I'll talk a little bit about the foundational components of why that means the world to me. And my mom, who spent tons of time with us. We have a doctor, 2 attorneys, and then there's me. And she spent the majority of her life chasing women away, girls away, and also making sure she was on every field trip that we had within school. And I believe that's a huge testament to where a lot of us have grown throughout our life. I think there's a huge church component foundation, a lot of them which are here, who were teachers, who were very instrumental in growth for me. And so I think that is something that I will always remember. I saw a few of them here today, and I want to thank you for all of the things that you instilled in us. And the late great Bishop Wagner was very instrumental in that and in education. And that's why we graduated from Calvary Christian Academy. And I think it's very important for people to understand that the dream starts there, right? And so it's just been what I would say. I think this is extremely humbling. I want to thank Guy. Guy, I can't believe you did this. I met a guy a couple of months ago, and just the chamber and the organization is just, this is awesome to really see. And driving through the area, I used to live here. I grew up on the south side of Youngstown, then moved to the north side of Youngstown, and then bought a house in Boardman on Fairfield Drive before I actually moved to Atlanta. And so, there are a ton of people. I'm sure I forgot someone. But there are a lot of people within this area that have been very important to me, including my competitive siblings who are here today. So that's it. If I forgot you, I'm very sorry. But that's the thank you list.
Great. Tell us a little bit about Gary Brantley. Something, outside of your career and business experiences. What can you tell us about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm extremely competitive, right? I may not be the best at everything, but I'm competitive. So even today, I run marathons. My grandmother used to call me a jack of trades and a master of nothing. I didn't know how to take that, if that was actually a compliment or a diss. I didn't really understand. But I'm extremely competitive, and so I think working through challenges has always been a passion of mine. Whether it's drumming, I played in church. I was an okay drummer here. My dad is a recording artist, drummer, and has done several albums and played for several artists in the industry. And so love music, love running, and just I love complexity. So I spent a lot of time trying to master that craft.
Well, having run a number of marathons, I know what it takes, so yeah. I appreciate that. Shifting gears a little bit, let's talk about the NFL. The NFL has really put itself aggressively on the global stage. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think the NFL's position is very strong. I think what attracted me to the NFL, of course, people always say, well, it's the NFL, but there are specific guidelines that I look at before I decide I want to make a transition, right? There are things that are very important to me that are tied to my willingness to join an organization. And so the NFL is you don't have to tell. As a matter of fact, when people ask me where I work, I don't tell them that because they start talking about their teams and calls and different things. And so I've learned to just be quiet, when I'm out and about. But honestly, the position is very strong. This year, we had one of the most competitive seasons that we've ever had. If you really paid attention, there was almost every team was in contention going into the playoffs almost up into the last week. And so that's huge for us. I think a lot of our young players are driving excitement. We are investing heavily into the tech space. I think there'll be some surprises this year that I think a lot of people will be excited about that I talked about at the annual meeting. I think the investment inside of that is going to be a tremendous help for how the league progresses. All of you have heard, and I think we're going to talk about that, but flag football is something that is what we're really looking at to help with global expansion. And, that's tremendous because now it provides equity across the board. It's easy to play, it's a development tool, and the NFL is investing to one day to have this sport become a sport where you can actually receive scholarships. So we're going through that process right now to bring that game. You have the LA 28 games coming for the Olympics, which is really exciting, and you have 9 sanctioned states already who are sanctioned to play flag football. So that's a huge component for our growth as we look to grow globally. We have an exciting game coming in Brazil this year for the first time. The Philadelphia Eagles that team has been announced. We'll see who the other team is. I think they're kind of down the road, but we'll see if that happens. But there'll be an announcement during draft about that. So I just think overall, the NFL is the strongest, and I'll say this wholeheartedly, and I'm a basketball fan by nature. This is the strongest brand. Nobody puts on entertainment and games like the National Football League. And so, I'm really excited about where we're going, and we have great ownership, one of which is here today, and is his son, Dr. York, who's, been a tremendous help in this area and has contributed significantly to the growth of the Youngstown-Warren, Mahoning Valley area.
I know, talking to you last night, I was amazed as somebody who's watched the NFL my entire life, amazed at what you shared with us about the technology involved. That was just, I think I have a new appreciation for what goes on behind the scenes to do an NFL game.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. The one thing I don't want to do is embarrass the city of Youngstown by something going down on national TV when you have 60 million people watching. But, at the same time, the technology is extremely critical to the success of the game. You don't see it. I always tell people it's actually a thankless job. People don't really pay attention to you until it's not working. And, I say this honestly, how many people come in every day and say thank you to the IT organization because your computer turned on? Not one. If it turns off, you're sending notes and all types of things. And so it can really be a thankless job. And I tell the team that, but it's also extremely rewarding that you can impact the game. And there's so many different components. I mean, we would be here all day if I talked about it, but one of the things you should know is there's chips in the shoulder pads. There's chips in the mouthpieces if you opt in. There's chips in the football. You have the coach-to-coach communication. You have the coach-to-player communication. You have the official communication. All three separate types of communications all going on at the same time. You have the tablets in the booths. You have the tablets on the sidelines. You have the medical team and their equipment that we set up that sits and they watch all the different aspects of what's happening on the field with the different players. There is a ton of technology. I didn't even get into next-gen stats, the analytics, the sports betting and technology component that's tied to that. And that's just game day technology. That has nothing to do with the business side of the operation, which is HR, operations, finance. Those areas still have to go. Most people say, well, what do you do technology-wise at the NFL? And I'm like, they're just looking at the game. They're not looking at the fact that it's also a multi-billion-dollar organization and probably one of the most recognized brands on the planet, both inside the U.S. and outside the U.S. So.
Great. You wrote a book on corporate restructuring. We have hundreds of business leaders in the audience. What's your advice for them?
Yeah, it all starts with people. I tried to write a book. When you think about transformation, one of the biggest areas of focus for me, it switched from, people would talk about digital transformation, but you can have all the digital transformation you want, and if you don't have adoption, it's pointless. And I've been, and that's the hardest part, right? You can spend millions of dollars transforming an organization, and if you don't have adoption, if you haven't figured out the people side of things, right? When you walk into any organization, there's always someone jumping in your face, right? You got to figure out if that person's, I call them a player, no player. And what that means is they present themselves as an impactful person to what you want to do from a transformation perspective, but they really have no impact around you really transforming that organization. So you really have to study people, you have to have a vision, you have to spend a lot of time getting people to buy into your vision. And I just came up with what I thought were the 7 steps that always caused me pain points. It was never the technology. It doesn't talk back, it doesn't call off, it doesn't get attitudes, it may beep every once in a while, it doesn't convince others within the organization not to jump on board, and it doesn't just stay mundane. It doesn't stay and say, I don't want to change. If you can change technology, you have to change people to adopt it.
After talking to you last night, I'm wondering how you had time to write a book, but that's a different topic. The final chapter in your book is titled Shaping and Controlling the Narrative. How would you shape the Mahoning Valley's narrative?
Yeah, the interesting part is I start the book off talking about Youngstown, and I don't know how I could do anything and not talk about it, right? When I grew up, this was a steel mill mentality here. You had the GM factories, which were very much populated, and it's really, those were the industries that really fed the area, not tech. And if you think about the narrative of Youngstown, it's almost like, you can bend, but you don't break. And that's how I look at it when you think about steel, right? Steel is resilient, and I feel like the narrative around Youngstown, it has grit. This area is very resilient. The definition of this, and I talk about it all the time, and I think it's one of the reasons why, I've been able to navigate the corporate landscape, is that this area has a ton of hard-working individuals. Nothing comes easy. Nothing is given. I've been in really big cities, and you see things that come easy. Even those who have things given to them, they still have a hard-working mentality, and that, to me, is what defines this area. And that is something that will never go. And I got a coach here when I play basketball, Coach Sims. He would always, and I tell this story all the time. I wasn't a tall guy, but, you know, I would always guard the best player on the team, even if he was 6'5", just because it was just a hard-working mentality that I adopted. And I tell kids this all the time, it's not going to come easy. You have to work your way through it. And that's just been my approach and focus, you know, throughout my career.
Thanks. All right, final question, and probably one that is going to shape a lot of people's thoughts on you. You grew up in Youngstown. Browns or Steelers?
Dr. York, just don't take this. This is how I feel, right? There are way too many people in here who know, who know me and have grown up with me and understand that, you know, prior to the NFL, I was a Browns fan, you know, that never leaves. But just so you know, I am an objective employee. All right. They don't get any special treatment.
It's very diplomatic and good answer.
Yep.
All right, before we wrap it up, I know you have a special announcement that you would like to make now.
Yep. So, you know, throughout my career, my family's career, right, we've always taken the approach to give back, right, to really not just talk about it, but actually be about it. And, you know, I'm just happy to say, you know, with my brother and who's here today, hey, Brian, stand up, because I think this is really important. Come on, you know you like the limelight. Stand up. That's Attorney Brantley and my parents and my family who's not here. We've established a scholarship endowment with Youngstown State University for inner city kids, black and brown kids who want to attend Youngstown State in the discipline of pre-law and computer science. And so we're just extremely proud to be able to help, to know that we will have the ability to help young students here continue to succeed. I believe one of the commissioners said this was a tech hub, right? And so I think it's extremely important. There are a couple of things that rule the world: finance, law, and I like to say IT. Those are like the three components that have pretty much purview over the landscape of this world. And so I'm just extremely honored to partner with Youngstown State and Paul and Brian who are here. Thank you for your help for us to get that established. It's been outstanding, and we appreciate you all, and thank you.
Well, again, thank you. I know the folks from YSU and the YSU Foundation, thank you, and everybody here thanks you. And Dana, I guess turn it over to you.
Thanks very much, Gary. You said you were a Browns fan. Now, the 49ers are really, really good. Any help, just that much help for the Browns? Can you do something? No. No, all right. I was expecting that answer. Before I call up Guy Coviello, I would like to remind the people at the head table here to please remain afterwards for some photos afterward. Finally, this morning, we're glad to round out our program with an update and overview from the leader of the Regional Chamber. Please welcome to close us out, President and CEO, Guy Coviello.
Good morning. Congratulations to our winners, and let me tell you how proud I am to have the opportunity to recognize such important people in our community. During the annual meeting, it is tradition to look back on the successes of the previous year. So at your table is a summary. So please take our annual report with you, set aside some time to peruse it, and please note the incredible work performed by your chamber's staff, your chamber's board of directors. Also note the incredible work performed by the chamber's partners, both public and private. This is all the result of a community effort, not an organizational effort. I want to call attention to what I think are the highlights, starting with the bad, which is 4 pages from the back, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to page 4 pages from the back. The page is titled Events. You see, someone in this organization that I run thought this was cute. 87 events held, 60 venues, 142 ribbon cuttings, and then you did it. You drew attention to my golf game. So you might think this is funny today, but there will be a meeting in my office tomorrow morning. Actually, I am very proud of this team. I'm very proud of this community for everything else in this annual report. Let's reflect on what the Chamber and its partners accomplished in 2023. Taken together, these efforts are helping to shape a landscape that positions our region for sustainable economic growth and success. We launched the 3 R's of repopulation: retain, return, receive. We have seen incremental improvement in our population, and Moody's forecasts a steady increase through the rest of the decade. We relaunched Leadership Mahoning Valley, which includes some of the best and brightest among us who are committed to making the Valley a better place. We launched the Center for Nonprofit Excellence to help our many vital nonprofit businesses better fulfill their missions and meet critical needs of the community. We answered an economic development need with a site readiness program that led to breaking ground on West Warren Industrial Park and North Jackson Commerce Center. We established the Lake to River Regional Workforce Coalition, bringing together dozens of workforce development organizations and educational institutions to coordinate our efforts and better serve our region's employers. We successfully lobbied for the Appalachia Community Grant Program, the All Ohio Future Fund, the Strategic Community Investment Fund, and innovation hubs that by law can't be located in any of the 3 C's. We successfully advocated for millions of dollars in state and federal funding for the Youngstown-Warren Regional Airport, the Youngstown Air Reserve Station, the Eastern Ohio Military Affairs Commission, Flying High Incorporated, and a proposed 8304 interchange that could set the landscape for significant economic development growth. All the while, we have been good fiscal stewards of your membership dues, your sponsorship dollars, and your event registration expenses. A transparent review of that stewardship is on the financial page of the annual report. This is a good time to draw your attention to the corporate banners you see displayed around the room. These are our Partner Plus members, whose generosity goes above and beyond so that we have the resources to uplift this community and so that we can keep membership dues and barriers to entry low for small businesses, startups, and nonprofits. While it's tradition to spend the annual meeting reflecting on the success of the previous year, a few years ago, I started a new tradition. This tradition is asking some of you to stand awkwardly in front of everybody else. Members of the staff and board of directors of the Western Reserve Port Authority, please stand. One of the biggest announcements we made in 2023 was a Christmas present that you helped us deliver to the community. Wrapped in a proverbial bow, that Christmas present is Kimberly Clark. Please remain standing. Terrell Washington, Vern Richburg, and the rest of the Chamber's DE&I Council, please stand. COVID disrupted the supply chain, and large companies are still struggling to diversify their procurement networks. That has created opportunities for our small, underutilized businesses to grow. Your work is paving the way for those companies, and in turn, you are helping us grow the economy in ways we hadn't previously considered. Please remain standing. Steve Remillard of Clean Energy Future and Trumbull Asset Management, please stand. You and your partners, Jiwoo Cho and Jahoon Kang, broke ground on the Trumbull Energy Center, our second natural gas-fired power plant. In doing so, you decided to invest more than $1 billion in our community. Please remain standing. Mayor Tito Brown, Chief of Staff Nikki Posterly, and other representatives of the City of Youngstown, please stand. You have invested in site readiness, as well as state and federal advocacy, so that our anchor city is primed for significant economic development. Please remain standing. In this new tradition of looking back and asking you to stand, this year, I don't want to stop by just looking back at the previous year. Sarah Boyarko, please stand. As an economic development practitioner, Sarah has established outstanding relationships with site selectors. It wasn't 2023. It was years earlier. Sarah made such an impression on site selector Steve Lazaridis that he advised one of his firm's clients to look at a large parcel of industrial property in Trumbull County. That client is Kimberly Clark. Please remain standing. Mr. and Mrs. Gary Brantley, please stand. It wasn't 2023. It was years earlier. Our Valley champion grew up in your home. Thank you for your contribution to our greatness. Please remain standing. There's another tradition I started a few years ago. That tradition is that at this point in our program, I tell everyone standing, sit down, you're yesterday's news. Tomorrow's news is that after spending the rest of today basking in this celebratory reflection of our success, we will again roll up our sleeves and continue working on a restructuring of the regional chamber so that we can play an even larger role in creating the right environment necessary for our region's continued economic development success. I call your attention to the center spread of the annual report. I'll give you a moment to turn to that center spread. It says Regional Chamber Foundation on the left. Take a moment to look at the logos on the right. Those organizations have helped us build an economic development war chest in the Regional Chamber Foundation. Because of their generosity, we will make the first of several announcements about restructuring later this month, when we will unleash a large portion of that war chest. Stay tuned for details of this exciting announcement. Next month, our news will be that as part of our expanded role in economic development, we will participate in an historic announcement about Business Iceland, Iceland Air, establishing operations at the Pittsburgh Airport. We will work with new partners in Western Pennsylvania and in Iceland to create more supply chain opportunities for companies in the Mahoning, Shenango, and Beaver Valleys. This summer, our news will be christening new C-130J model aircraft, an investment of hundreds of millions of dollars in our community, an investment that protects Trumbull County's largest employer, the Youngstown Air Reserve Station. And finally, later this year, the news will be that Altium Cells will surpass the Youngstown Air Reserve Station as Trumbull County's largest employer. The first time in many, many years that a private sector tax-paying company once again holds that distinction. Congratulations to our award winners. Thank you to our distinguished guests, San Francisco Niners owner John York, Raiders Super Bowl champion Ed Moransky, NFL Rookie of the Year and barefoot kicker Paul McFadden, and everyone else for spending your morning with us. I'll see you on the golf course for a few bogeys. Have a blessed day.